Number 10. Regina Hampson. On April the 3rd of 2021, 33-year-old Regina Hampson and her male roommate were both at the home they shared in Nanaimo, Canada. At around 6 a.m., Hampson found that the man was going through a mental crisis and attempting to end his life with a loaded 12-gauge shotgun. As soon as she realized the gravity of the situation, Hampson rushed to take the weapon from her roommate's hand. The woman would later tell a media outlet, "I didn't think, I just wanted to save his life." She did manage to grab a hold of the gun, but it went off, hitting her in the face and hand. After the incident, Hampson was admitted to the Vancouver hospital, where doctors did all they could to extract the shrapnel from her right eye, but to no avail. The woman permanently lost her vision in it and required skin grafts. However, she's since maintained that she would do it again if necessary. Number 9. Charles Kinsey. On July the 18th of 2016, 47-year-old mental health therapist Charles Kinsey was scouring the streets of North Miami, Florida, trying to retrieve an autistic patient, 27-year-old Arnoldo Rios Soto, who'd run away from his group home. After finding Rios Soto, Kinsey was trying to calm him down when they were approached by police officers responding to reports of a man threatening to shoot himself in the same area. Officers ordered the peer to lie on the ground, a command with which Kinsey complied, but his patient did not. While lying on his back with his arms raised, the mental health therapist was trying to convince his patient to follow orders. As soon as he saw police officers pointing their guns at them, he began explaining that the other man was autistic and playing with a toy truck, making it clear they were both unarmed. However, moments later, Officer Jonathan Aleda fired 3 times, hitting Kinsey in the leg. After the incident, the mental health therapist claimed that police turned him on his back and handcuffed him, leaving him to bleed on the street for 20 minutes until an ambulance came. Following his recovery, Kinsey, along with Rios Soto, both sued the North Miami Police Department. Aleda claimed to have been aiming his gun at the latter because he thought he was armed. He was convicted in 2019 during his second trial on 1 count of culpable negligence related to the shooting. Number 8. Javan Matthews. On August the 18th of 2021, Javan Matthews was at a corner store in York, Pennsylvania, when a man entered the shop with a gun in his hands and demanded money from the cashier. Matthews reportedly thought a prank was being played out. The moment he heard 1 gunshot, he realized there was a robbery going on, and even though he was putting himself at risk, decided to help. He tried to fight off the attacker and punched him once in an attempt to leave him unconscious. As he fell to the ground, the robber shot 6 times at Matthews, hitting him in the thigh and leaving him with 3 gunshot wounds. In spite of being hit, Matthews began wrestling the perpetrator, ultimately managing to push his gun away and hold him down long enough for police officers to get to the scene and arrest him. The suspect was identified as 47-year-old Marcial Serrano, and he was charged with 2 counts of attempted homicide, robbery, 2 counts of aggravated assault, and illegal firearms possession. In the incident's aftermath, Javan Matthews was treated for his wounds, which weren't deemed life-threatening. Number 7. Javier Yanez. In the evening of September the 9th of 2019, Javier Yanez, aged 31, was at his home in St. Paul, Minnesota. Yanez, his wife Kayla, and their 4 children were getting ready for bed when they heard the sound of multiple cars crashing outside their house. As Yanez went outside to try and assist the people involved in the accident, his wife remained inside the home and called 911. Only moments later, she heard gunshots and saw her husband fall to the ground. She was still on the phone with the dispatcher when she realized he'd been shot, so she pleaded for help to be sent to their address. When officers arrived, they found Yanez dead at the scene from a gunshot wound to the head. A subsequent investigation revealed he had been shot by 27-year-old Lionel Keyjohn Eaton, who'd been driving one of the 4 vehicles involved in the crash, and who'd been taken into custody at the time. Eaton was charged with 2nd and 3rd degree murder, but in January of 2020, he was found incompetent to stand trial due to mental illness. Number 6. Juliana Ramos. On the night of February the 10th of 2021, shortly after midnight, 26-year-old nurse Juliana Ramos was driving along with her 4-month-old baby on Highway 99 near Fresno, California. As she was traveling, Ramos noticed a car crash and pulled over. to tend to a victim hurt in the collision. She stopped in the center divider next to one of the cars and got out to help the injured driver, leaving her baby inside her vehicle. Within moments, a red SUV drove between the two vehicles and plowed into Ramos. The woman was knocked to the ground and later succumbed to her injuries. The driver stopped and stepped out briefly, only to get back on the road and speed away. Following the accident, police checked surveillance footage and began searching for the SUV in an attempt to find the hit-and-run driver. After an 8-month-long investigation, officers received an anonymous tip leading them to Dr. James Komatsi, a 68-year-old cardiologist at Adventist Health Hospital in Sonora. The caller also shared information about his missing SUV. Komatsi was detained and charged with felony hit-and-run and vehicular manslaughter. Number 5. Katherine Jenkins. On December 4th of 2019, Welsh mezzo-soprano singer Katherine Jenkins was walking on the streets of London and heading to rehearsals for a Christmas Carol charity concert held in Chelsea's St. Luke's Church. On her way there, Jenkins encountered an elderly woman screaming for help as she was being attacked by 2 teenage girls. Jenkins intervened, but the muggers turned on her, and one of them snatched her iPhone. The teens then ran away, but police officers who were called to the scene managed to catch one of them and have her return Jenkins's phone. In January of 2020, the 15-year-old admitted before Highbury Corner Youth Court to stealing Jenkins's iPhone and assaulting a police officer. Her counsel claimed that the teenager had only grabbed the phone because she thought she was being filmed. She was handed a 6-month referral order and apologized to the singer. Number 4. Cassie Anderson. On December the 27th of 2015, in the afternoon, 24-year-old Cassie Anderson was at a bar in southwest Houston, Texas. She was on her waitress shift when she noticed people yelling outside. The situation involved a woman who was trying to fight off a man attempting to steal her car. Anderson and a male bartender decided to help, but when they went outside, the carjacker shifted his attention from his victim to them. He was holding a gun and tried to aim at the male bartender, but instead shot Anderson, wounding both her legs. The 24-year-old was immediately taken to the hospital, and updates on the matter indicated doctors were expecting her to recover. Number 3. Karen Graham. On August the 29th of 2020, 54-year-old Karen Graham and a few of her friends were visiting Fort Morgan, Alabama, as part of a girls' trip. They were on the beach when they heard someone calling for help in the water. Graham and about 20 other people quickly formed a human chain, holding hands in order to reach 2 young women who'd been struggling against the current. Graham was at the front of the line when the chain fell apart because of the powerful waves. The water currents tossed her around and she ended up swallowing a lot of water. A man on the beach used a paddleboard to return Graham to the beach, and an air ambulance flew her to the hospital. Unfortunately, by the time that medical staff could attempt to save her life, the woman had suffered a heart attack from the salt buildup. Today's topic was requested by Silver Corn and Magic Pyro Ninja. If you have any other topics you'd like to learn about, subscribe and let us know in the comments section below. Number 2. Sarah Fallows. On the night of October the 25th of 2017, Diane Fallows called police officers to her home in Manchester, England, worried about her daughter's mental health. Sarah Fallows, a beauty therapist, had been drinking and taking cocaine after fighting with her boyfriend. When officers arrived in response to her mother's call, they found Fallows shouting and running on the street nearby. While they tried to detain her, the woman punched and spat at them, leaving them with cuts and grazes. In the police van, Fallows continued to shout, and while Officer Tracy Hallworth was trying to calm her down, she punched her in the face, leaving her with a black eye. Officers placed her in leg restraints and called an ambulance to take her to the hospital. While en route, the woman spat in a paramedic's face, so she was placed in a spit hood. Officers went to assist her at the hospital, where she was given 3 sedatives because she kept spitting on nurses and making threats. The police then took her back to her mother's house. When she got there, Fallows claimed she couldn't remember what had happened, aside from being taken into the police van. Although she later admitted to 3 charges of assaulting police and criminal damage to a pair of handcuffs, the woman initially avoided jail due to suffering from borderline personality disorder. Fallows was eventually sentenced to 12 weeks behind bars in April of 2021 and ordered to pay several $100s in court costs and compensation to all her victims. Number 1. Jonathan Polanco. On August the 20th of 2021, 30-year-old Jonathan Polanco stopped for snacks at a 7-Eleven in Portland, Oregon. He was outside the convenience store when two teenage girls began attacking a third one in the parking lot. As others stood by and watched or filmed the altercation, Polanco intervened and tried to break up the fight, telling the attackers to stop. At one point, another man approached the scene from behind a garbage can and pulled out a gun, fatally shooting Polanco in the head. He was rushed to the hospital but died later that night, leaving behind a 6-year-old daughter. His death was ruled a homicide by the Portland Police Bureau, but investigators haven't released any information regarding the suspects in the shooting. Thanks for watching. Would you rather break up a fight between two professional MMA fighters or defend your home against a baseball bat wielding intruder? Let us know in the comments section below.